provide seniors, that you look at the organizations in your area that provide senior services. Who are those organizations that you can then partner with? And this becomes really, really important as well as you look at your structure, as you look at your resources, in terms of what you can provide and what they can help provide for you to support the seniors that you serve. Also kind of the same, but who are the organizations that provide services, again, that can assist you? For example, is there a local farmers market in your area that you may be able to partner with for fresh fruits and vegetables for seniors that may be in need of additional food resources? Is there a center in your neighborhood that can rent space for your trainings or your workshops, or your receptions or fellowship time, whatever it is? Is there a local newspaper that will give you free advertisement? We find in our area there are quite a few local newspapers that will advertise and share our information through that newsletter. Are there stores in your neighborhood or community that will provide discounts? That's a great benefit as you're looking at building your list of benefits, member benefits, to provide discounts, or local cleaners, or, local transportation service. Uber and Lyft are famous for giving discounts for well-intended organizations. So you want to find that. Are there stores in your area that will provide discounts? And that becomes a part of your member benefits as you are recruiting and attracting members. Certainly connect with your local AARP chapter. You can get speakers through AARP. They can come out and speak. They can provide all kind of trainings that they already have. So the local, making that partnership, relationship connection with your local AARP is very, very important. And then also, restaurants that will support holiday meals. We have found a restaurant, they did it free. I thought they're just gonna give us a discount, but they were happy to engage with the village because we were serving seniors. So we were able to partner with the local restaurant because, as we talked about before, when it comes to loneliness and isolation around the holidays, that's a very, very important time for us to really keep our hands on our seniors, to make those calls, make sure they have holiday meals or holiday cookies or a holiday gift bag or whatever it may be, but just being in tune with that. So look for potential partners that can help support the work of the village. You'll be surprised of how many really will help and want to be a part of what you're doing. And this has been very important for us to have those partnerships. In addition, are there any questions about, go back, about identifying potential partners? Any questions about that? Great. The other thing I would say is that other villages, and I've heard since we've been talking this morning, one or two of you are already connecting. That is so important, to really connect with other villages. I recall when we first started, and there was a very loose consortium of villages here in the city. And initially, I really wasn't going to get engaged, but decided to go to the first meeting. And it's been the best thing that I could have done. And that was to connect with other village leaders in the city. You'll find out that many are dealing with the same issues that you are dealing with and faced with. They have resources, they have lessons learned, best practices. Again, just a more than one village. Our voice is louder. We do some collaborative things together where I wouldn't be able to afford to do myself, but as a part of a group of villages, I benefit from that. So collaboration is really, really key. So if you can find other villages, so the question again becomes, are there other villages near you? And maybe not right there in your community, but they can be close enough to you that you can still become a part of a network, or you can kind of form a small one. If there are none, search for a regional network. We have the national network, the B2B, but in our area, we also have a regional network of villages called the Washington Area Village Exchange. It's called WAVE, and I'm actually on the board for WAVE. And we try to support local villages as well. Villages can send us position descriptions that they're trying to hire. We send that out to the network. We provide resources. We have a bi-monthly meeting where we bring in speakers and do various things for our members. So there's a regional network here, and I know there are regional networks in other areas of the country. So you want to look for that as well. And then again, certainly join V2V if you've not. Barbara was great in the beginning for our villages, and she still offers discounted rates. B2V offers discounted rates for villages that are not yet started or startups. There's so many resources. You can go into the back office and you can get almost anything you want, templates for everything, because you're going to need, various documents. And B2V has a library of documents and just various things that will help you a great deal as you look into starting your village. So again, other villages are important, making those key connections, collaborations locally at the regional level, and again at the national level through V2V. The resources are just great. And we already just talked about this. The knowledge, networking, and resources are invaluable as you look at, again, forming these partnerships and looking at other villages to help you is very good. And just talking again about villages in your area. So these are the villages in our area. They're 13. So we just keep a list of them, who they are. And for our area, we keep a list of who those villages are, who those directors are, what their website address is, because the other thing is that you may run into seniors who you can refer to another village. So it's very important to know the villages that are around, and that helps you to refer them and make sure that they're getting the support they need, whether they're getting that through your village or not, but they're still connecting and getting that through your village. As you can see, there's a column there that says the years that we've been in operation. And if you'll see, there's from 1 year to 14 years. Capitol Hill Village is the largest village in our area, and been around the longest. We are one of the smallest villages in our particular network of villages. We're one of the smaller villages. This is very, very important as well as you're looking at starting your village and looking at the possibilities of doing that. One of the things that I believe is that you may not be able to provide all the services. You cannot provide them, but what you can do is refer. So referrals are a major part of what we do to help our seniors. So you want to research again the services your local and state senior services agencies provide. What do they provide? And they can provide a number of things. So you want to make sure that you're aware of the types of services, because again, every state should have a local agencies that's been funded by the government, and not only with regular state government funds, but many of them got ARPA funds as well to help support seniors. So you want to find out, what do these agencies offer us as we support our seniors in our area? Our agency, again, the Department of Aging and Community Living, they provide case management services, which is very, very important. We don't have a social worker. Some of the larger villages may have a social worker on their team, on their staff. We don't have a social worker. We have someone who can do what we call intake, find out kind of basically what their needs are. But what we do then is connect them with the Department of Aging and Community Living. And what they will do is assign a case manager to that senior to make sure they then get connected to all of what they need. They may need a home health care aide. When we refer that senior to the DACL, is what the acronym there, they can then go through the process to get them signed up for a home health care aide. Again, make sure you know our agency provides transportation to their doctor's appointments. We have some transportation we provide, but if we don't have volunteers who are available during the daytime, then that's a challenge. But through the Department of Aging and Community Living, they will send out a van to pick them up and make sure they get to their doctor's appointment. So that's very, very important. They also provide other means for transportation so that they could get other places. We have something called Metro Access. We have Transport DC, because DC funds a lot of transportation for seniors. So in some cases, they get a gift card that's loaded every month that they can use for transportation. But every city will be different. But the point here is to find out what transportation support your local agency for senior services provides. They become a part of your network of partners. So if you run across seniors, you can refer. Our agency also provides home delivered meals, so we can get them signed up. We have seniors that are not able to go to the grocery store on their own, not able to cook on their own, various things. So this is not, 3 meals a day every day, but I want to say they get 8 meals delivered every once a week or something like that. But that's good. And all they have to do is pop it in the microwave. So they provide home delivered meals through DACL. There's also a program through DACL that does home adaptations. So if they need a chairlift or shower chair, or they need their railings on their stairwell is very weak, or they need a chair to lift them up the stairwells. So there's funding through this agency to provide some of that, because remember, the purpose of a village is to help seniors age in place. How do you help them age in place? You provide the resource, the support, the services that they need so that they can stay in their homes as long as reasonably possible. Our agency also provides deep house cleaning. We know that a lot of our seniors, again, they're older. They have all kinds of stuff. So they will come in and do a deep house cleaning to help the senior, because we want them to be healthy and to live in a healthy environment. And there's some other services that DACL provides as well. Again, this is our agency in the area that provides senior support services. There's one in every state. And I'm not sure in terms of drilling down to your local levels how that works, but find out who that is so that they become a part of your support system, because you can then refer seniors to that agency to get other support that they may need. I know we're wrapping up here. Okay. Again, I just said this, you cannot meet every need, but you can refer, and I'm going the wrong way here. So real quickly, if I could do it over again, what would I do? I would talk to someone about villages. I would really, really talk to someone about villages, and I really applaud all of you. I think I heard everybody say, at least almost everyone, I'm in the beginning of thinking about it. We've been thinking about it for a while. I've been talking about it. I've been researching it. I'm interested in how it works. I'm looking into it. So that's a great thing. Find out all you can about villages so you have a good understanding of what villages, what the concept is, what the purpose is, what the goal is of a village. I said earlier, again, I would specifically define the community or the communities we're going to serve. You can't be so general. You want to be pretty specific, because what you want to know is, the demographics of that community. How many people are we talking about? What are the ages of those of the population? What's the gender divide? Makeup, the gender makeup of this, because that's going to help you again frame, the services you're going to provide and how you'll launch. I would spend, I would spend a great deal more time developing a volunteer base and an onboarding process for volunteers. You really, really need to have volunteer support, because you're going to need it to help support, the seniors, to help to support the village. So I would definitely spend a lot more time. almost 5 years later, we're still struggling with that. Just engaged a consultant a few months ago to help us with our volunteer process and making sure we are identifying volunteers. We have a recruitment process to keep volunteers in the funnel. We have an onboarding process. So I would do that differently. The other thing I would do is seek donors early. Initial investors of money, time, materials, products, services, whatever somebody can offer your village, that's one less thing you have to try to provide. And that is very, very important. I mentioned before that we partner with the church. There's no way we could have paid for space, let alone the water and lights and equipment, all the things you still need to run the village. We weren't able to support that. So seek some donors earlier, some partners who will help you with those kind of things, and then create a realistic timeline. And again, I applaud all of you. Most of you, I heard say that you're really looking at that. You don't want to, start too fast and not be ready to really start the village and sustain it, because you want to do more than just start it. You want to be able for it to grow and to continue to work with seniors. I'm going to stop talking there. I've done a lot of talking, and I was just trying to get through the presentation. But I do want to stop and ask if there are any questions we want to entertain, any questions that you may have. We would love for this part to be a kind of a discussion. So we would like to hear from you this morning. So I'm going to see if I can pop over to the chat and read some of the questions here. Let me see here. Questions. Someone said here, Dana West answered this question. For the person wanting to know the average size, V2V did a national survey with California, Berkeley, lots of stats like average size, age, etc. So you can go to the V2V network and you can get some of that information. Would be helpful. Thank you for that. Somebody asked, does your village have membership dues? Thank you for asking that, because I did not put that in the presentation. We have a very nominal fee. And again, this is where you also have to look at your membership makeup. All of our members are low income. All of our members are fixed income. And what we do, and we don't do our membership on an annual basis because that's a hardship. So our membership fee is on a monthly basis, and it's only $10 a month. So what we do then is look for funding, to help us to supplement and augment that. And that's, again, one of those things related to your research and your understanding your community. It doesn't have to be. Now, there's some villages, $500 a month, $540 a year, $600 a year, whatever it is. But I'm sure they did the research and then they know their membership base that they can, afford that. So we do a lot of supplementing. Again, we have a lot of low income seniors. So $10 a month, sometimes we don't even get that, but we take everybody who's interested, in being a part of the village. So thank you for asking that question, Ms. Colleen. Ms. Lisa, to everyone in the Bay Area, California, there's a regional group called Bravo that meets to share ideas, issues, and lessons learned. For those in Santa Rosa, Silicon Valley, San Jose, you may be interested. So I just wanted to read that. From Ms. Linda, did the DC local government support the startup of some of the other villages? Do they provide some ongoing support to all the villages? That is so wonderful. Thank you, Ms. Linda, for raising that. When the RFP came out, they were only at that time looking for a village to be opened in this particular area. So at that time, they only supported one, but I'm so pleased to report that because we came together as a collaboration, we lobbied and we advocated, we all get funding now from our local government. So that's wonderful. So we get funding. We don't know how long it's going to last, but the last 3 years, we've all received some level of funding, and it increased. I mentioned before the ARPA funds. Your local government has ARPA funds too. And because of that, we got an increase the last 2 years in what we were getting per village. So we did get that. So they're supporting now all of the villages, and there are 13 of us in this collaboration right now. We're working together right now. We got a website for all of our villages. We got an evaluator this past 2-3 years who do surveys for us. We're working on a strategic plan for our collaboration. So it's really, really helpful. So thank you for asking that question. Great question, Ms. Emily Greenfield. Related, she said, how does the receipt of municipal funding for the village affect who is eligible to become a member in the village? We've been going back and forth with our agency because that can be a concern, but we have talked with our local government so much that they respect the fact that some seniors, you don't want to give their personal information. As you know, sometimes with municipal funding, they want to know your income levels and, all kinds of things. So they require us to do some other reporting on the number of people we're servicing, the neighborhoods we're servicing, the services we're providing, but we don't have to report a lot on some of those things that could be a challenge. So it does not impact us in terms of the seniors we have to support. Now, some of the funding, and this is what many of the villages do, some of the services that they provide, they use specifically private funds, and then some they use government funds. And that's another way to not have to deal with the challenges that can bring. So thank you for asking that question. Did I answer it for you, Ms. Emily? Okay. Ms. Maria Glantz wants, we have a grant from King County, wonderful. And their limit is that someone must be 55 or older to be a member. And I suppose that they be a resident of the county, but that's a given for us. We're in an island community. Yes, and we do have to serve DC residents. So that is absolutely correct, because if you're getting funding from a local agency, government, they want you to fund their citizens, their community. So we too have to fund DC residents. Ours is 60 years and older, Ms. Maria. So they do have stipulations there. Ours is 60 years and older. And also for us, we can serve disabled any age. So we have those with disabilities and seniors that we can serve through our local organization. Ms. Lisa, on the point of collaboration, it is very important that other nonprofits in your community see you as a partner, yes, and not a competitor. That is so important, because when we first started, there are other organizations and everybody looked at it that way. And I would have to say all the time, we're not competing. The way I look at it is that we're all working together to support seniors. Everybody doesn't do the same thing. We don't do it on the same level, but we're certainly not in competition. So that is so correct. And I still find myself doing that. Using the no wrong door policy that directs individuals to the most appropriate service. Yes, that is so, so true. So thanks for raising that, Ms. Lisa, that it's important that you're not in competition with anybody. You want to serve the best you can, and you're a part of a larger network of providers who has a passion to support seniors. And that's who we are. Thank you, Ms. Kim, for your comments. I appreciate that. Alan, question about board members, whom should be on the board and how do you select that? I don't think there's a one answer to that. I know there's not a one answer to that. You kind of find, who you may be interested in being a part of the board, people that have resources in terms of knowledge or some experience. They may bring other things to your board, but there's not a one answer, to that question in terms of your board members. Thank you, Maria, for answering the question about membership fees. As I mentioned, ours is pretty low, and we really use it too. We use ours to supplement things that our grant won't supplement, like the grant won't do food. Like if you have an events and, we always have to have food, but the grant won't support food. So we use our funding to do some things that the grant, will not cover. Kathy, you asked a question. You mentioned that your village is completely volunteer run, so does that mean you have no staff? If you do, what do you have in terms of staffing? And if I stated that, I misstated, didn't mean to imply that. We're not totally volunteer run, but we're not staffed. And what I mean by that, we don't have any full-time staff. What I did, and again, this was a creative way I thought to help us get the support that we needed, reached out to a couple people that were already kind of volunteers in their areas of expertise. And what I do is give them a stipend once a month. So it's not a full salary and it's not a staff, but it's more than they were getting. And they love doing what they're already doing. And especially to get a stipend for it, it was like a win-win. So it was great. And they love it. So that really works for us. So we don't have As an ED, I don't get paid. I'm an unpaid ED. And I'm kind of working, through that, but been doing it for 5 years only because I love doing it. So I am an unpaid ED. At what point in development process did you select a platform for managing your village? Great question. Looking back, do you think that timing was good? Thanks for this wonderful voicing and perspective. Ms. Emily, we just, and actually we're using Helpful Village. We just engaged last December. So December of 22? So we engaged December of 2020. So this is our second year with Helpful Village. We used something earlier, but it didn't provide the member management on the level that we wanted to, where we could actually do our registrations. It did membership fees, but it wasn't for villages. What I like about what we're doing now is kind of focused on villages. I think the timing for us was good because you want to get your footing. You want to also test to see what is out there, what will work for you best, what will give you the reporting you need, what will manage for what we're using right now. It does the website stuff for us with very little content management because we don't have the staffing. It kicks out a lot of the templated letters and reminders because we don't have a lot of staffing. It manages the volunteer requests because we don't have a lot of staffing. So for us, it works. So you want to see what's out there though, and then decide from there what platform will work best for you. Okay. I think I've answered all the questions that were in the chat. We have about 5 minutes before 12:15. Are there any other questions that I can answer for anyone this morning? Alan, you have your hand up?
Yes, we have a question about how do you run manually meeting with all members to talk about the board activities and everything, financial, everything?
Do we have meetings with the entire membership?
Yeah.
No, I just have,
that.
We don't. I just have meetings with our team, to really talk about those things, about our reporting, because we do have to do some monthly reporting, ACL, but it's very simple and templated as well. About our budgeting, right now we're in the actually just kicking off the fiscal year. So I'll be meeting with our team next week to just talk about the FY23 budget, what kind of dollars we have for various aspects of what we're providing, but I don't meet with the entire membership, no. We do have a members meeting once a quarter, but that meeting is really focused on operations, how well we're supporting them, what would they like to see that we don't do, presenters they would like for us to bring, what kind of support they want. So it's more focused on that.
Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Lisa Brinkman, your hand is up.
Yeah, just for Alan too. I'm on the board and on the advisory committee of Sausalito Village and Marin Villages. And I think it's as you grow, what we did is the larger we got, we did an annual kind of report that we used for members as well as for outside donors in the county. We based it on percentages as opposed to raw dollars. So that we would be able to kind of give them a status, not just on the numbers, but also on the impact and the number of transactions, so the number of services provided during the year, because it's pretty powerful. It is something to share, but telling people exactly how much money you have in your bank account probably should stay with the board.
Yes. And you're right. If you have any kind of that data, it is very helpful to share with funders and others so they get a kind of a picture of who you are. Thank you for sharing that, Ms. Lisa. Anyone else? Someone asked me to post my email address, and I did that in the chat. Feel free certainly to reach out. Any questions I can answer, I will definitely try. Want to thank you again for being a part of this discussion. Hopefully you found it helpful on some level, but appreciate your attending this morning. Okay. Well, thank you very much. You can, at the bottom of the screen, you'll see the leave room button. You can leave the room and we will be joined back into the general session. Thank you again so very much.
Thank you. It was really good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. It was great.
You're welcome. Thank you.